Hello guys and welcome to the United Stand. I am joined today by the one and only FABRIZIO Romano, basically part of our team by now. Hello Fabrizio, how are you today?
Hello Beth, I'm fine, thank you. Hello, ready to go for the final week.
Final week and then you might get a holiday eventually.
Yes.
Right. Got a lot of stuff to get into today. I'm hoping you're going to be able to give me something decent because after obviously Manchester United's draw to Southampton, there was a few worries by the fans from us here about the midfield at Manchester United. And now we've just seen reports coming out that CAMAVINGA might have played his last game for Rennes and he might be leaving towards the end of this transfer window. Do you think there's any chance that Manchester United could go in for him on this transfer window? Do you think there's any chance that we could make some kind of last bid? Because obviously last time you were here, you said that we really appreciate him and he's high on Manchester United's list. But do you see Manchester United going in for him this summer?
First of all, they always had an interest in CAMAVINGA. They had approaches directly with the agents, with Rennes. It was the end of June, the start of the beginning of July, and they had direct contacts for CAMAVINGA. So CAMAVINGA has been always appreciated by Manchester United, but their feeling was that maybe the player was waiting for some different bid. He was not in a rush. You remember that many times in June, in July, I always say the problem is that the player is not in a rush. He wants to wait till the end of the market or next summer to decide what he wants to do. And this is what's happening because now the player would be prepared to leave Rennes immediately. There are huge chances for CAMAVINGA to leave the club in 7 or 8 days, so at the end of this window. Let's see what happens with United if they want to make a bid. Same for Paris Saint-Germain. They've been the most interested clubs this summer because Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern, many clubs are interested, but for next summer, for CAMAVINGA as free agent, if he wants to move now with 30 million euro, 35 million euro as potential price tag for CAMAVINGA, is something interesting. So let's see what Manchester United will decide to do. I think it's also directly linked with the outgoings because they also need to sell some player. They are not selling any player, and this is a problem in the market. So they need to decide on many players like Lingard and what they want to do with these kind of situations. But I can see that yes, they have CAMAVINGA in their list, and so never say never. When a player is available on the market, everything can happen.
So you do think there is a chance that Manchester United might make another transfer this summer, because obviously it's been quite quiet now for a while and people are thinking that maybe it's the end of our business and it's only outgoings that's going to happen. So do you think that there is a chance that we will sign someone else within the next, I think it's 10 days now?
From what I'm told, Solskjaer has been honest when he said it depends by the outgoings and when we will decide. So this is the truth. So they are still waiting to see what happens with Lingard and with many other players that they have to decide if selling, loaning out or not, and then they will decide on new signings. So I would say there is a chance, yes. It's 100% sure, no, not yet. So we need to wait day by day and see what happens, but it's a possibility. It's one of the possibilities, and they will be ready if they find the right opportunity. So let's see day by day.
Well, I think everyone would be happy if we signed any sort of midfielder now after what happened at the weekend. But moving on to Lingard, obviously a midfielder that plays for us, there's been questions about his future at Manchester United. There's been talks of West Ham being interested again, Everton even being interested, Leicester being interested. And obviously he got some minutes at the weekend, even before Donny van de Beek, which was quite shocking because we thought Donny was higher up in the pecking order than Lingard. Do you think Ollie sees Lingard as part of his plans now for the summer, or is he still thinking about trying to get that move away and starting again outside of Old Trafford?
I'm told that he's really happy. Ole is really happy with Lingard and how he's working in training. He's been a great professional this summer. Also, his mentality after spending a good long spell to West Ham is improved. So they're really happy with just Lingard now. But he's still one of the players that could leave Manchester United in the final day. So I won't say that he is 100% staying because West Ham are still interested. They want to prepare something for the last days to approach again Manchester United and to see if they will be able to find an agreement. So I will keep the situation of Lingard open, but also Donny van de Beek is one of the things to keep an eye on because it's really strange, as you say, that he was not preferred to Lingard. The situation is still complicated around Van de Beek because the player wants to play. He's training so hard. He wants to be part of the team, part of the project. They were happy with him in the preseason, but he was not playing. And he wants to play. He needs to play, I would say, because we're talking about a fantastic player, fantastic talent. he needs game time. He needs game time to adapt to the Premier League, to new football. He had a not easy season in the opening one. Also, the last months he had some injuries, so he wants to play, and that's why I will keep an eye on his situation. Let's see what happens in the coming days, because Donny wants to play and wants to be sure that he's not having a whole season on the bench. So also the situation of Donny as of Lingard has to be keep an eye on this too, because they need to decide maybe one or the other could leave the club.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking, because obviously we signed Donny for 40 million euros, I think it was, and he's a great player, talented player, was great at Ajax, great for his international team, and you would think within our midfield he would get a chance, but it just seemed like the whole of last year, absolutely no chance, and then this year again, to not even be brought off the bench for the first 2 games, and you've got players who are less fit than him coming off the bench and coming on, so fitness isn't even a problem, and he's working hard. If I was Donny van de Beek now, and I'd be thinking to myself, I'm not going to get some games. I'm not going to get some games this summer. I'm going to be on the phone to my agent. Do you think that's Donny's feeling now? Do you think he needs basically to know from Solskjaer what the plan is with him? And if it is just a squad player on the bench, do you think he will make that move?
What I can say is that, as I know Donny van de Beek and how serious is the guy, he will never create any problem to the club. So 100% also, if he will not be playing and these kind of things, or he will have some problem, he will be there every day in training, fighting to have his place. And this is Donny van de Beek mentality. And trust me, he's one of the best professional Manchester United have. So he's an incredible guy, not just incredible player. So that's why I'm sure that he will not create any problem to the club. But yes, he wants to play. And that's why I'm sure that they are looking for options. We had some rumors that he was part of the deal with Varane at the start of the negotiation, but was not true, because Real Madrid were not looking for a midfielder. It was an idea for Juventus before they signed Locatelli. It was in June. They were considering Van de Beek as one of the options, but Locatelli was the priority. Let's see now what happens if some new club will join the race for Van de Beek. We had rumors about Arsenal, but it was denied by people close to the player. So as I said, in the final days, everything can happen when a player is not 100% happy with his situation. And that's why I will keep an eye on the situation of Van de Beek till the end, because as you said, he's incredible, to be honest. I think he's a fantastic player. He deserves to play. He deserves to show his skills. But now the situation is getting really, really complicated for him.
Exactly, and I really like him as a player. I think he's got a great attitude. I think when I've seen him, he's been a great player. So hopefully he does get his chance. But as you say, if any movement did happen in the last few days of the transfer window, like you said it could, obviously Bissouma at Brighton at the weekend had a great game. He's been on a few Premier League's radars. I heard he was close maybe to Arsenal, but then that got denied. Do you think is he even on Manchester United's priority list? Because I know a lot of our viewers here would love us to go in for Bissouma, but there's not been that many rumours. Do you think there's any chance of Manchester United moving for him?
At the moment, I don't see Bissouma like a priority, to be honest, for Manchester United or also for Arsenal. I've always been told that Arsenal were looking for different players, so Bissouma was not a priority. And also for Manchester United, it could be an opportunity, as you said, because we're talking about a good player who is really developing match by match, week by week. But as of now, the situation is still with Manchester United not having any direct approach with Brighton. So I don't see it like imminent. Maybe in the final days, everything can happen, so never say never in the market. But I don't see it like something imminent or something close to be completed. So that's why I will keep an eye on Bissouma, but maybe not for United.
Yeah, and that's the last, obviously, talking about the midfielders, because obviously we're so desperate to get one in. The last one I wanted to ask you about, I spoke to you about him last time, and I think if this player did want to move, it could be a deal that could be done. But obviously Ruben Neves at Wolves, I personally think he's got the talent to be playing for a better side than that. No disrespect for Wolves. Could you see any movement with him in the last few days of the transfer window? Obviously, if Manchester United managed to get a transfer maybe for Donny van de Beek or Lingard.
It depends on the outgoings, as you said, but he's one of the players in the list. Yes, he's always been one of the players in the list. They like Ruben Neves. It's not a priority, to be honest. It was not a priority. So if some player will leave, it could be one of the names. But together with Camavinga, he's been one of the players in the list and one of the players to keep an eye on. The only problem could be about Wolverhampton, because they're maybe losing Adama Traore because Spurs want him. And so selling two key players in 1 week be a big problem for Bruno Lage and for the whole team. So that's why maybe it could be complicated to negotiate for Ruben Neves if Adama Traore will join Tottenham. But he's one of the names in the list, so it depends on the outgoings. He's not advanced now, but could become something advanced in the coming days if something changes.
Well, I'm sure everyone would like to hear that because I've got a lot of fans of Ruben Neves in our comments right now. But another question I wanted to get onto, obviously, I saw this through your tweet, and it was about Ronaldo possibly wanting to leave Juventus, requesting to be on the bench. Do you reckon he will get his move within the last week of the transfer window? And if he did, is there any hints where he would go? Because I've seen rumours circulating that he's been offered to Manchester City, but in my head, I thought Ronaldo would probably never go to Manchester City. So I was just trying to get some clarity on the Ronaldo situation. And do you think he's going to stay at Juventus? And if he leaves, what kind of clubs would be interested?
My feeling is that will be really, really difficult for Cristiano Ronaldo to move in the coming days. But yes, this summer he was looking for options. He was hoping for some option to change, to have a new opportunity, a new challenge. So Cristiano would like to leave Juventus, but as of now, there are no bids for Cristiano Ronaldo, and that's why also Juventus Vice President Pavel Nedved yesterday was saying we are not selling Cristiano and he will stay, because as of now, they have received no bids. Talking about the clubs, the situation is a bit complicated because from Paris Saint-Germain, they say that they are not signing Cristiano Ronaldo. So I don't see Paris Saint-Germain going for Cristiano Ronaldo in the coming days. About Manchester City, they're really focused on Harry Kane. They want Harry Kane. They're not giving up on Harry Kane. It will be difficult because day by day, Tottenham are still hoping to keep the player at the club, and so it will be complicated. But they are still targeting Harry Kane. So let's see if City will not sign Harry Kane. Maybe situation in football changes, but as of now is not advanced. The Juventus have received no bid for Cristiano Ronaldo. Real Madrid are out of the race after what Ancelotti said. They are not looking at Cristiano Ronaldo as one of the options. So the situation is complicated because he would like a new challenge, but he has no bids. And so as of now, the situation is really quiet.
Manchester United wouldn't put a bid in, no?
We had some rumor, I remember, at the start of the window of some potential swap deal with Pogba, but it was absolutely impossible also because the value of Pogba in Manchester United ADS is higher and higher than of Cristiano Ronaldo one for Juventus. So I think it will be really difficult. Remember that Cristiano Ronaldo has a salary for 31 million euro net per season. So I think it will be really, really difficult.
Okay, so you just mentioned Pogba there. That moves me straight on to my next question. He's played great first two games of the season for Manchester United, despite obviously all the transfer windows. I know that Manchester United are trying to work on a new contract for him. Do you think that he will sign that contract, or do you think he will try and leave on a free at the end of the season?
I keep the situation open, to be honest, because Manchester United are talking with Mino Raiola since the last week of June, talking on a new contract with Pogba, and they have still no agreement, and I don't see Pogba signing the contract in the next few days. Maybe it will take some weeks or some months to decide. From United, they are confident, to be honest, so they always say that they want Pogba to stay, and I always say it here also when in France they were saying Pogba to Paris Saint-Germain and these kind of things. United were 100% convinced that Pogba was going to stay, and this is the reality now. But about the contract, it's a bit more complicated because, you know, Mino Raiola also with Donnarumma made the same. He was negotiating with AC Milan for many months, and then Donnarumma left the club as a free agent. So it depends by the bid. It depends by the project. I think signing Varane and Sancho is something important to show Paul Pogba the ambitions of Manchester United, and it is key also for his agent Mino Raiola. But now they need to find an agreement with Pogba, and there is still no agreement with Paul Pogba. So that's why the situation is still open. We need to see week by week what happens, but it's one of the priorities for Manchester United together with Bruno Fernandes' contract. So next priorities will be Bruno and Paul Pogba.
Hopefully we can get them signed. Like, I'm sure everyone wants that to happen. Amad Diallo, great talent that came in last summer. Everyone was so excited to see him play. Another one that seems to not have got much game time under Solskjaer. And obviously there's rumours about him going out on loan, possibly to a Premier League club. Do you think, one, he will end up going out on loan? And two, which direction do you see him going in? Any particular Premier League teams? Is he going to decide to go to Sheffield United in the Championship? What is the future of Amad this season?
He received more than 5 bids, I'm told, loan bids, of course, and many clubs interested to have him on loan. Basel in Switzerland want him, Sheffield United, also Crystal Palace, many clubs from Premier League, from Bundesliga, from many countries. But as of now, Amad has not decided yet. He wants to take his time. In some days, he will make the final decision together with his agent. from what I'm told, he wants to play Premier League football. So let's see if Sheffield will be able to change his mind. But he wants to play Premier League football. So Crystal Palace could be one of the options, and not only Crystal Palace, because also other clubs are inquiring about the situation. But yes, also if Ole said, I won't be surprised if Ahmad will be staying here. I still see Ahmad going on loan. I think he has chances to go on loan because he wants to play. He needs game time. Manchester United have many strikers and important players in the position, so it's also fair for the player to go and play, because he deserves to play and he needs to improve himself.
Exactly. It'd be so great for him to get used to Premier League football and kind of prove to everyone that he can play for us, because that'd be amazing to see him come up through the ranks. And another player that's been on Manchester United's radar for quite a while now is Kieran Trippier, but we know about, obviously, what Atletico are going to ask for him. Do you see Manchester United making any moves for him within the last week? Because obviously it's been a recurring theme the whole transfer window now.
Yes, a lot of rumors on this one. A lot of rumors, but I always say that Atletico Madrid want 40 million euro for Trippier, and the player is not desperate to leave the club, and Simeone want him to stay. And also I'm told that the atmosphere around Atletico Madrid is really positive now. They are starting so well the season. They are building an interesting team. So Trippier is not desperate to leave. He would be open to join Manchester United because it would be 100% open. The links were correct because Manchester United had an interest in Trippier. They have an interest in Trippier, but Atletico Madrid always said 40 million euro or nothing. Also when United opened talks in June, and it was for a bit around 14, 16 million euro, I don't included, then Atletico Madrid said absolutely no, we want 40 million euro for Kieran Trippier. So as of now, I see this deal as really complicated, to be honest, really complicated. But I will keep it open because in the final days of the window, everything can happen. And as I always said, it depends on Dalot. Because if maybe Manchester United had the chance to sell Diogo Dalot in the last days, maybe it was an opportunity. Now the situation is still quiet for Dalot. AC Milan are out of the race because they signed Florenzi. Sevilla are out of the race as they signed Montiel. So now it's complicated to find a solution. Let's see what happens till the end of the window for Dalot, and maybe keep an eye on Trippier if Dalot leaves.
So basically, it's if Dalot leaves, we probably will go for him. If he doesn't leave, then Dallot's going to be our second choice right back, I'm assuming.
Yes, this is the feeling I have. Also because Dalot is training so well, is working so well, so he has chances to stay. But also him, like Van de Beek and many other players, he would like to play. They want to play. They want to show their skills. We have the World Cup in 1 year, so they want to show their skills. That's why many players are pushing to go. But Dalot would be also open to stay and be in competition with Wan-Bissaka for the place.
This is just a quick question I wanted to ask you because I saw it on Sky the other day. I was just sat in my living room watching Sky, and next thing you know, on Transfer Talk, I see that obviously if Kylian Mbappe doesn't sign his contract at PSG, that he could be at the top of Manchester United's list for next summer. Is that true? Is there any truth in that?
I think will be really difficult. My feeling is that Mbappe, if not this summer, maybe next summer, Real Madrid will go for him with a strong bid, with many people involved in this negotiation. They're working on Mbappe since months, so they want Mbappe, and if they lose on Mbappe also as free agent next summer, it will be a disaster for Real Madrid. So that's why I think it will be complicated for Manchester United, for Liverpool, for English clubs to join the race for Kylian Mbappe, because Real Madrid are working on it, they are pushing on it, the player is open to join Real Madrid in the future. So let's see, but I think it will be really difficult to see Mbappe in the Premier League next year, maybe in the future.
Damn, I really wanted Mbappe to come to the Premier League. Anyway, this was just a rumour that I saw on Twitter before when I was looking through transfer news. Apparently, Manchester United and Manchester City are both extremely interested in West Ham's Declan Rice, and they would go for a bid for him, but they know that West Ham's price is ridiculous. Do you see Manchester United waiting on the midfielder purely so they can Declan Rice's price will go down, and that Manchester United have more money saved up to go for him? Do you think he is a priority for Manchester United in that midfield?
He's so appreciated, and he was included since June in the names for the midfield together with Ruben and with Camavinga. So they always had these three names in the list. But the main problem with Declan Rice has always been with the price. To be honest, I don't see Manchester United spending this money in the final days if they are not selling key players, and they are not selling key players. Camavinga is a bigger opportunity maybe. So that's why at the moment I think that would be really difficult for Declan Rice, also for West Ham, losing on Declan Rice after not having a complicated window, because West Ham are not signing players. As of now, they need to do something in the coming weeks. Also losing Declan Rice would be a big problem, a big issue for the club, for the team, for the fans. So I think it will be really difficult. And as you said, the price has always been the player for Declan Rice. So I think it will be really, really difficult.
Okay, well, at least we know that he's appreciated and it could be a possibility. Lastly, I just wanted to ask you, obviously, because this transfer window is coming to a close now, do you see Manchester United making any movement in January, or do you think it'll just be a wait till next summer?
I think something could happen. Obviously, in January always depends on injuries or this kind of situation or how the season is going. So we have to wait to see what happens in January. But I would say, why not? Why not?
Okay, thank you so much, Fabrizio, for coming on. I'll let you get back to your last busy week in the transfer window. And obviously, everyone was so happy to have you on, but thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you again, and see you next week. Thank you.
See you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, guys, there was some great insight from Fabrizio there. Ryan, where's my screen gone? I don't know where to move. Moving to this area. There's a great insight from Fabrizio there. Obviously, we all want a midfielder. We've been waiting for a midfielder after the shocking performance. I would call it shocking against Southampton in the midfield department. We've got Matic, Fred, and McTominay basically as our options. And for me, looking at that on an outside perspective people will make excuses for Ollie and they'll say, yeah, but he's only got Matic, Fred, and McTominay to pick from. And I would be one of them people to make them excuses if he hadn't had this summer transfer window with the money that he has spent. Obviously, Varane is a class signing. Sancho, an amazing signing. And hopefully they can come into the team and make a real difference. But as we saw at the weekend, our midfield is still a massive struggle. And if Ollie sits there and thinks, well, what do you expect when I'm only picking between Matic, Fred, and McTominay? I would say, well, you should have prioritised the CDM then. You should have prioritised the CDM, because at the end of the day, Manchester United's main crack is their midfield. And Chelsea this summer, they went and filled in their crack, which was their centre forward. And he comes on, goes straight into the team, no messing about, no waiting to embed him in, get him some confidence, straight into the team and scores straight away. I think it's 15, 14 minutes in. And for me, that is what we should have done. We should have gone first for a midfielder, because that was where we're lacking massively. And then we should have moved to a centre back, and then we should have gone for the right wing. I'm so happy that we've got them positions, but a midfielder is a priority. And I'm just hoping what Fabrizio said about Ruben Neves and possibly Camavinga might happen within the last 10 days. I mean, let's be honest, guys, when he says in a few days, I mean, we don't know. That's kind of, it's not secure what is going to happen. But as we said about Donny van de Beek, still can't get minutes. Lingard comes on, who's just had COVID before him, so all he can't do is usual and go and lie in his press conference and say, well, it's about fitness. Well, it's not about fitness, is it? Because Jesse Lingard's just come back from COVID and you're playing him before Donny van de Beek. And poor Donny van de Beek, the camera switches to him on the bench and he sat there and he looks so unhappy. And to hear this news from Fabrizio saying, he's training so hard, he's got a great attitude, he really wants to be part of the project, it makes me extremely sad for him, because you've got players there, no disrespect, that, I'm not going to name names, but are a lot less talented than him and haven't got as much potential as him. Donny van de Beek is a young, talented player. And I'm telling you right now, you give him minutes in the Premier League to adapt, he will be a great player in that team. When we watched him against Southampton, was it Southampton or Everton that time, when he was spreading passes from the back? And I feel like the commentators were saying, oh my God, this is what Manchester United have been looking for. This is what they need. They need someone to play along Fred or McTominay in that pivot and be able to spread passes, move the ball quickly. And then when we saw Donny in pre-season playing with Matic, we thought, this could work. Donny's got legs. He's got great passing ability. Him and Matic had a good partnership. They were on each other's wavelengths, because even though Matic's legs have gone, he's still an intelligent football player. He'll never lose that. And we thought maybe this could be the start for him, but he's still not getting a chance. McTominay's basically injured. He's coming on. I feel like for Ollie, it literally goes McTominay, Fred, Matic, and then Lingard, Mata, and then Donny right below that. And I just think, for me personally, I would love him to stay and I'd love him to play. But if he's not going to play, then we might as well get some money for him, because at the end of the day, we paid 40 million. It would be in the best interest of Van der Beek to go and play elsewhere, get some minutes. And I honestly hope that he has a massively successful career. But if I don't know if that's going to be under Ollie, especially the first 2 games in. Ollie coming saying in his press conference, Donny will be important for us this season. We said that last season and he didn't play. So is it one of them lies again he likes to tell in his press conferences? I think it might be, but I feel like if I was Donny now, I'd be on the phone to my agent and seeing if I can get a move to somewhere that actually appreciates me and actually is going to let me play. And then we could possibly go in for a position that's actually going to get game time, such as Ruben Neves or CAMAVINGA. My feeling on the CAMAVINGA situation is that Rennes want to get money for him. They don't want him to leave on a free. So I feel like the club will be pushing for that move. And I feel like CAMAVINGA obviously wants to wait for the free so he can weigh up his options or weigh up the club options. In my mind, I'm like, if I am going to buy a player like we did with Varane and Sancho, I want the player to want to come to Manchester United the way Rafael Varane did. I want a player that wants to give everything to Manchester United and doesn't want to just come because he kind of has to. So I would like CAMAVINGA to choose to come to us. And do you know what? From what FABRIZIO said, I feel like Manchester United would be open to putting in a bid for CAMAVINGA. Obviously, we've appreciated him for a massively long time. And I feel like it's down to CAMAVINGA on what club he wants to choose. So I think if Rennes push hard enough in this last week of the transfer window to get some money for him, honestly, guys, I feel like that might be the most likely option for our midfield. Nicholas Peridekas says, Donny is better than Fred, hands down. See, my opinion on that is they're both very different players, but is Donny a better footballer? Yes, he is. Is he better with his feet? Yes, he is. Fred's more of a breakup of the play, and I feel like Fred would suit a 4-3-3 a lot more, the way he played for Brazil, but that just isn't our style. And I think Fred suits McTominay the most in our team. I feel like when Fred plays with McTominay, that's when you will see the best of him. And if that's the best of him, is it Manchester United level? I'm not sure. Fred's another one where I think it's just a pure squad player that we've been forced to make into a starting 11 player. And there's been a few players like that in our midfield. And I tell you what, if CAMAVINGA could come in and get some minutes, which, by the way, guys, do we really think that would happen with Ollie? You've seen how Sancho hasn't even started the first 2 games, and he's proven Champions League player, international player, one of the best in his position, and even he's not got a start. So I feel like with CAMAVINGA, could be the same story with Ollie, like he could go into the under-23s. And we saw that last year when at the end of the transfer window, United got worried and we went for Palestra and we went for Ahmad. And they announced them as if they were first team signings, which was stupid. And it was just trying to pull the wool over our eyes. Because at the end of the day, Palestra was an under-23 signing. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And he's just gone on loan for basically the last 2 seasons. And Ahmad, I think Ahmad's got the talent to be in the first team. But because he's young and Ollie, for me, isn't ruthless enough, I feel like it's an easier option to leave him out. It would be an easier option to leave him out than Martial out. It'd be an easier option to leave him out than the new £73 million signing Sancho out. It'd be an easier option to leave him out than Rashford out, for obvious reasons. And then, obviously, Greenwood, first name on the team sheet in that front three. So with Ahmad, I feel like he's one of them that has the talent. And from what Romano was saying, Crystal Palace do seem to be interested in him. And we have had quite a few bids for him, which shows that other clubs can appreciate the talent he has. And I don't know how you guys think. Let me know in the comments. But personally, for me, I would want Ahmad to go to Crystal Palace. And I'd hope he'd get game time. I feel like even though Crystal Palace aren't one of the top teams in the Premier League, I feel like they can play a good brand of football. I think Zaha would be a great winger for him to be learning with next to, because obviously he's got massive talent and they do have some good attacking threats, Crystal Palace, and they're not just purely defensive football. So I would like to see Ahmad go there rather than a team that's just going to sit back and play defensive football. And do you know what? I feel like if Ahmad went to Crystal Palace, he really could tear it up and he really could get noticed. I tell you what, guys, he'd go straight into my fantasy league team. I don't know about you guys. Probably quite cheap as well. So I'd like to see him move there. Obviously, Romano gave us a Trippier update today. Personally, my opinion on it, guys, is Manchester United don't want to spend that much more money. And Trippier for 40 million, rightly so, is way too much. If they were selling him for about 17 million, I'd be like, could go for that deal, but they're not. They're trying to get 40 million, and I do think they are trying to hold out on that. So, and if Dallow's training really well, as they say now, because they don't want to buy another right back, and he's going to get some time this season, then I wouldn't be upset about us not getting Trippier. I think it would have been nice to have that attacking outlet down the right-hand side, because for me personally, I do think that is a part of Wan-Bissaka's game he needs to work on. But then again, when Sancho came on the other night, I did see them linking up a lot more. Like, Wan-Bissaka was actually being passed to when he'd make the run, whereas other players don't really seem to pass it into him. So we'll have to see on the Wan-Bissaka and Dalot situation. Personally, for me, I think it's going to be the same old story where Wan-Bissaka's going to get played, and Dalot's going to get the occasional Carabao Cup game. That's how I feel like it would go. But honestly, for me, against teams that are towards the bottom end of the table, I mean, saying that, Southampton, we couldn't beat them, could we? I would try and play Dalot and get us in a little bit more of an attacking style. So we'll just have to see what happens with that. But again, like I said, it's probably just going to be Wan-Bissaka being played over and over again. But anyway, guys, obviously we know now, Fabrizio, that we really appreciate Rice, but we don't want to pay the money. We really appreciate Neves, but he's not at the top of the list. We really appreciate Camavinga, but we're not sure if he wants to come to us. So it's just a lot of if and buts about what's going to happen. And I feel like that is the story of Manchester United with a lot of players. It's like they appreciate them, but they're not going to go for it. And if I was Manchester United, if I was Ollie, if I was the board watching that game yesterday, I would have watched that game and said, I don't even care if Ruben Neves is at the top of our list. He's going to do better than this midfield. And that is just pure facts. Like, Ruben Neves, Bissouma, even though I said I wasn't a massive fan of him, like, I am a fan of him. I just don't know if he's good enough to come in and do that holding role on his own. But when he played for Brighton, he played amazingly well. Doesn't seem like we're that interested in him, though. Even Camavinga, someone who can kind of build up, get minutes, and maybe get into the first team halfway through the season, that would be good for us right now. You don't have to go and spend 60 million on Declan Rice. There's other players out there, if you do your research, that could come into our team and make a massive difference. At the end of the day, next year, probably Matic is going to leave, Pogba might leave, Donny's probably going to be gone. That's 3 midfielders that are leaving. So it would be nice to try and get a replacement in now that can build into the first team and be a regular stay. Do I think personally it's going to happen? I don't think it will. I think we're done with transfers. And how Romano said that, seeing the coming days for Van der Beek, seeing the coming days for Lingard. Let's be honest, guys, it's going to come to the deadline day. Lingard and Donny have gone, oh no, we didn't have time to get anyone else in. Imagine if that happened. It wouldn't surprise me with this board. But we've got to appreciate what we have. We have Varane, we have Sancho. They have to start next game. And if we don't end up getting a midfielder this summer, which would be a massive disappointment, hopefully the board will realise, and hopefully it won't be too late, and maybe we could go for someone in January. But obviously in January, your options are limited. It's a lot harder to get players in. So we'll just see what happens, guys. But obviously, thank you so much for tuning in today. I've enjoyed reading all of your comments. It was a great interview with Romano, and hopefully we can do it again sometime. But have a great day, guys, and I'll see you again later. I'm on the 8 o'clock show. I think Kev's on there. I think Jay's on there, and there's going to be a few other faces. So make sure you tune into that later, guys. See you later.